Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today I got my buddy's STIHL BG55 blower, and he was having some issues with it. I did record everything I did to this thing, but of course my video got lost, so I'm gonna tell you what I did to this. He took it to an Ace Hardware and they told him it had low compression, and took it to the shop here. I did a compression test and it was low. It was between 100, which is low, and 120, which is kind of right on the edge there. I tried my best to fix it and I wasn't able to, so the compression was the real issue here. So what I ended up doing, I replaced the carburetor, fuel filter, spark plug, and I put some really good fuel in it, non-ethanol fuel. I completely tore this thing down, I cleaned it, and then I actually put a new cylinder and piston in this thing. And you're probably thinking, yeah, it's not really worth that much. I mean, the way things are going now, how expensive these are now, I'm not really sure, but probably they don't make this anymore, but comparable, it's probably 300 bucks, I would assume, for one of these. So he wanted me to fix it, so I was able to fix all that stuff for 150 bucks. So I guess it's what someone's willing to pay for it, but yeah. This is not an OEM carb. I put a HIPAA carb in there because OEM carbs are very expensive, and I was able to dial it in pretty well. It runs good now. I wanted to show you the cylinder. So this is the cylinder that I took out of the blower. When I was doing my compression test and I noticed it was low, I took off the muffler and I was looking inside this. So I'm going to show you this. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'll try and rotate it here a little bit. I didn't find any scoring or anything on the piston on this side that I could see. And I also put a borescope in the cylinder. Maybe some really light scoring, but I didn't see anything crazy that would cause this to have no compression. So either something internally happened inside the blower or a worn piston ring or something like that. So what I wanted to do, I actually wanted to tear this open, and we're going to look at this piston and cylinder and actually see if there's scoring in there that I couldn't see with my borescope. So let's do that now. All right, so everything on the STIHL was a T27, so let's take this apart. You can see the cylinder is pretty dirty, but being a blower and stuff, you know, you're gonna get a bunch of stuff in there. I don't see any scoring on that piston at all. So looks like he did take care of this thing. So let's look at the cylinder. I don't know, I'm trying to see if you can see this, but very minimal scorching. Yeah, it's really hard to show you guys this, but yeah, very minimal. So yeah, that's unfortunate that he had a problem with this thing. I mean, it is an older blower and they don't make it anymore. I'm not sure how long he had it. Not sure when they discontinued it, but he had it maybe 4 or 5 years, something like that, but never had a problem with it. And they said one day he went to start it and it just didn't start. So, but sometimes it doesn't take much. So connecting rod looks good. Crankshaft looks okay. There is a lot of play in this. I'm not sure what the clearance is, but trying to show you this here. Like that's a lot of play in there. I don't think that's supposed to be like that, but I don't take apart many two-cycle engines, so I noticed when I did get it running with this cylinder and piston, it didn't run very long, and it did sound like it was clanking pretty good, so maybe that's this with all the play. So maybe it just wore out just enough. It rotates okay. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it looks like, well, it does look like this ring is kind of popping out a little bit. You can see on the piston here, this ring just kind of sticking out. You know, and that could just mean, you know, obviously when it's in the cylinder, it's going to be compressed. So, but the other one, the top one, looks fine. But yeah, there really isn't any scoring on this thing at all. And even the top looks decent too. You know, doesn't look that bad. Yeah, weird. Just light scoring in there. Nothing crazy, but I guess, you know, sometimes it just takes a little bit. And like I said, it's not like it had, you know, 20 pounds of compression. It was like right on the edge. It was like 100 to 120. So, you know, you want to be in like 150 to 190 range usually for a 2-cycle for a blower like this. So, yeah, that's weird. He wanted a second opinion, you know, and Ace Hardware, you know, they did what they were supposed to do, but when I did replace the spark plug, I did gap the spark plug. Seems like there's like the 2 spark plugs that I actually got, they weren't gapped at all. Like you couldn't even fit it on a gapper, so it's definitely not. And I was reading the tolerance for the spark plug was like 20 thousandths, which is like the smallest it can be, but I gapped it a little bit wider than that, and it runs good. I actually had to go through 2 HIPAA carburetors. The first one, it didn't run good at all. You know, the idle I could not get the idle right at all. The second HIPAA carburetor, the idle was fantastic, worked great. I could adjust it, and then it did bog down when I pulled the trigger. I had to adjust the actual running speed or the trigger speed. Yeah, and obviously it's a brand new piston cylinder, so it's got to break in too. So, but yeah, just always make sure you put really good fuel in there, and I'll show you guys what I put in there. I've seen really good reviews on this stuff, so I purchased a bunch of this stuff. That's what I put in the 2-cycle stuff, and it seems to run very well. I have heard really bad things about True Fuel in STIHLs in particular. So if you put True Fuel in your STIHL, I would recommend you don't put that in there and use this instead. I don't know, there's something about True Fuel that just eats stuff up on STIHLs. I don't know. So I just decided I don't even use True Fuel. I'm just going to use this in all my 2-cycle stuff. I apologize for losing all the other footage. You know, I did a lot of work to that thing, so it was actually fairly straightforward. You know, the cylinder and the piston comes in one unit, and you just install it and put it in, and just got to make sure everything's bolted down, and it's got to make sure you keep track of what bolt goes where, which is actually pretty easy. There's some bolts that are different sizes, but all in all, a lot of them are the same size, so you don't have to worry about it. Just take a lot of pictures. But if you guys have any questions about what I did, or if you guys are thinking about replacing a cylinder on your STIHL blower, let me know. I didn't purchase the cylinder and piston from STIHL. I bought it on eBay. It was an OEM cylinder and piston, and it was brand new, and it was $55. So obviously with shipping it was around $70. All the other parts and the labor and stuff like that, I'm giving him a break because, you know, he's a buddy of mine and he really wanted this blower back. So probably could have charged him like $200, but I wasn't going to do it. I charged him about like $150 30 bucks. So obviously my labor cost is really low on this project, but I wanted him to have his blower back, and he really seems to like that blower. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you guys like these videos, let me know. Next video, I'm going to be diagnosing a pressure washer, a Honda pressure washer, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys. See you later.